Welcome to the first episode of Positive Vibes with Rachel Murphy and Natasha Aylott. On this regular live broadcast, there will be uplifting and nourishing stories, insights, tips and tools to inspire greater joy, bliss and happiness in the lives of those watching and beyond. This is a Christmas special, focusing on the common challenges and joys of this festive period. Also on the show, we have Costa McCreese, who will introduce a day of good news, a global movement to share only positive news on social media for one day and the wider purpose for the world. I hope you enjoyed this show as much as we did. So sit back, relax and happy viewing. My name's Rachel.
And I'm Natasha.
Natasha here, hello.
Hi there, how are you?
Looking very festive. Yeah, very well, thank you. Keeping warm.
Oh, yes, indeed. And you know what they say, you lose heat from your feet and your head. So it seemed like a very good idea to put a Christmas hat on. It's Christmas festive time.
Perfect. So, yes, this show was kind of in the flow, wasn't it? It was spurred on by something posted. That's an event happening on the 22nd of December called A Day of Good News. And this was spearheaded by a lovely guy called Costa McCreese and a beautiful team of like-minded souls who just want to bring a counterbalance to the heavy bias towards the negative in our media and in our social media, and encourage people to share only positive news on the 22nd and invite other people to do the same thing. So we're hoping that Costa can join us in a little while. There's a little time difference between us here and there in the US, so there it's daytime, I believe, for them. So that he may be just getting a few things finished up before he can join us.
Coming back from his daily swim, no doubt, in the sunshine.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, we have Debs with us, who is one of the team.
Hi Debs!
For the Day of Good News. Hi Debs, can you say hello? Are you there?
She's there, but maybe she can't speak.
Maybe she can't speak. Oh well, maybe say a little hello in the chat later. So, Natasha made a comment on a post I shared about A Day of Good News, and you suggested that that you'd like to set up positive news radio show, and I jumped on that. I sent a message straight away, didn't I, and said, "Oh, that's a brilliant idea," and then the conversation carried on from there, and here we are.
Absolutely. I think we both jumped on it, actually, didn't we?
Yeah.
We both jumped on it because it was something that I've been thinking of for a long time, and something that I was really excited about. And I had put some feelers out a year or so ago, maybe a couple of years ago. And the people that I had approached and speaking with in talks with, it didn't come to a fruition. So I just happened to come across this post. I'm like, oh yes, let's jump on this one. Let's do this thing. Rachel, come on. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah.
So it seemed like a really fantastic idea. And actually, you're so right. You know, it's really important to balance the heavier, denser energies, which are more on the negative side. And, you know, it's just the way the news is. Bad news travels fast. So counterbalance is perfect. I'm all about the love. I'm all about the positivity. Same for you. And so it's absolutely wonderful. And you have the check. Wonderful, Dave. And thank you so much, David. You are amazing. I don't know whether you can respond, but in any case, yeah,
there he is.
David with a big thumb. Yes, 100%. Really, truly blessed and much appreciated. And thank you, Rachel, for saying yes to me, to the idea, to yourself, and to making a difference. Yeah, hopefully, you know, we'll be able to make a big difference to people in terms of changing the perspective and changing the way they look at the world. Because you and I both know from our own personal experiences, challenges, pains, enlightened moments, and the blissful moments as well, that actually when you change what you look at, as Wayne Dyer says, what you look at starts to change. And it's very powerful and it's amazing. And I know that both of us, as many of us who are connected in our soul tribes and our soul groups, etc., understand how powerful empowering yourself is and mastering who you are.
Yeah, definitely. The power of the mind is amazing, isn't it?
100%.
Things
Yeah.
that can be accomplished when we're able to harness this powerful tool of ours. It's, yes. We'd like to share a little bit about our feeling around Christmas time as well. This is a very interesting time, isn't it, for people? You know, one day or a couple of days out of the year where, you know, lots of people tend to either gather together, or people conversely are very much on their own or feel very much on their own. There's a lot of expectation for many people, and pressures, different types of pressures going on. And there seems to be a flurry of activity and messages given to us by our cultural conditioning, by the media, by people around us, and it's a beautiful time, but it also can present its challenges, can't it?
Massively. It's a huge time for pressure, for stress. It's like the whole world goes crazy, ultimately for one day. I was thinking about this today. I was actually at a photo shoot, and you know, with some friends came around afterwards, and it was really good, and we were kind of reflecting. And it is a time for reflection, you know, coming towards the end of what we call a normal year, or what's recognized and seen as a year. So it's closing the chapter of part of your life and moving into a brand new chapter. So it's like almost, you know, wiping the slate clean, starting again. Ultimately, you and I do this on a daily basis anyway, because we know that it's really helpful to do it that way. But looking at an entire sort of 12-month span, if you like, really puts things in perspective. And I think definitely one of the things I've noticed as I have got more grown up, as the years have ticked by, so to speak, you know, there's been more reflection there, and a lot of questioning and challenging of the way things are done. And one of the things you brought up, which is a really important point, is it's a time for, you know, families and friends to gather together, celebrate, to have dinner, to have parties, to have drinks, all of these kinds of things. And yet at the same time, it can also be a period of real loneliness for some people who maybe don't have families, maybe are really far away from their families, particularly older people or single people. And it's not necessarily single people who are maybe our generation or perhaps even the younger generation. It tends to be the older ones, because obviously we've got friends and family, we can connect and meet, or, you know, what have you. And so it's really understanding the importance of getting together. It's not so much of buying. Yes, it is a pressure of sending out Christmas cards, buying Christmas presents, doing the shopping, wrapping the cards, ordering your Christmas meal, and all of the prep work, as well as having to juggle everything else in your life. And I think that in itself puts a huge demand on families. It may be one person who heads it in the family. It may be the mother in the family. It may be the father in the family. It may be the grandparents in the family, or whatever it is and whoever it is. But there is such a huge amount of pressure to step up to the mark, to spend all this money for one day, to, you know, buy all these presents for everybody. And so I think one of the things that you and I have spoken about over the last few weeks is how can we look at this and acknowledge that, yes, there is all of this pressure and everybody wants to, you know, not disappoint, and, you know, make sure that everybody's taken care of, everybody's got a present and all of this kind of thing. But also to look at what are the other reasons, and how are the other ways that we can spend this time and really maximize it and put a bit of perspective on it, and perhaps even challenge the way we've done things, to take off the pressure and to take away some of the stress. Because there is there is a day, believe it or not, in January, and I think is it the 21st, Blue Monday or something, and it's not a good day, because actually it is a day where a lot of suicides happen. A lot of people just give up and want to, you know, and you look at like the build up to Christmas, getting together with family, friends, presents, laughter, drinking, sparkly clothes, presents, wrapping, time together, parties, etc., etc. And then you look at this date in January 21st, and that's really scary. So for lots of people, it's not a fun place. It's not a fun time. So I think one of the things that we want to do is obviously brighten up things for everybody and help people see a different point of view and perspective and challenge the way things are done to suit themselves, not to conform, not to have all of the pressures. At the same time, really understand that, you know, it is a period where we are all, I think, responsible for looking out for our neighbours, looking out for our friends, noticing in the office, noticing, you know, in the shops, noticing wherever we kind of hang out, the people who maybe are taking a back seat or keeping a low profile or maybe aren't visible, and just checking in on these kinds of people. So rather than it being what can I get sort of scenario in terms of presents and whatever, what can I give, how can I contribute, how can I support, how can I help, and the real meaning of getting together and celebrating this period of our lives, which for all of us, yes, has its joys but also has its challenges. There's a lot, obviously, I've put out there, but just because we want to get people to really think about it and question it, and, you know, please do ask questions of us in the chat box. I'm not sure if it's possible to bring people in. If it is, great, but, you know, we really want to open this forum up, don't we?
Definitely. I mean, we have the Zoom link, so people who want to talk to us via video conference can follow the Zoom link that's in the event page that I'm guessing you would have seen this information. So just follow the Zoom link, and it's free and easy to download and use. You just follow the instructions, okay on things, and then you're up and away. You've got a webcam, if you've got a mic on there, then you can join us, or you can chat in the live chat on Facebook. So there's many options.
Looks like Debs has got her hand up.
Debs, you want to say something? Hi, Debs. She's texting. Dave, do you want to say what she's written?
I'm at work with no camera or mic on my computer, but really enjoying listening in. Shared to my page as well.
Oh, thank you, Debs.
Oh,
really
thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So, yeah, I can relate to this as you know, having been a single parent for a while, and there were those times when my daughter would go to her father, and I was like, what do I do? Everybody's got extended family. I was in a town where, you know, I was away from family, and it was a really you know, difficult time, but thankfully I had good friends around me, and I reached out, and I eventually arranged to go around with friends, so I wasn't on my own. But there's this, you know, it's quite peculiar because, you know, the rest of the year I'm quite happy in my own company, but for some reason, this is the power of the mind again. Christmas brings up all this kind of expectation and this sense of wanting or needing to commune with other people, and that's not a bad thing, but it also highlights it for people that don't necessarily, as you say, have those friends and family around. So yeah, definitely older people are in that category of potentially being on their own. And it is about just reaching out. To me, Christmas is about community, and you don't have to be on your own. There are people out there who would willingly take you into their group, into their community, and into their home. But it's taking that step and not feeling that you have to, you know, remain hidden and not be a bother to anybody or a burden. You know, it takes a level of bravery, doesn't it, I think, to reach out and to make a change.
Oh, massively. And one of the things you mentioned about expectation, this is one of the things that, you know, I share with my clients. We all do it. We all have expectations. And what happens if our expectations of an event or situation or a job or even a person don't match up to, you know, what we were thinking or hoping for? Well, it leads to disappointment. And, you know, so there's a lot of disappointment around this time.
Yeah.
Because the expectation is so high.
Yeah.
You know, whose house are we going to go to? Who do we invite? The mother, the father? Do we invite the mother-in-law, the father-in-law? Do we invite the uncles, the aunts? Do we invite the brothers and sisters if they're on their own or somebody's lost somebody? How do we do it? And certainly growing up for me, well, actually it wasn't growing up because my parents separated after I had left home. But even then, it was, okay, so who's going to, you know, where's my dad going to go? You know, where are my brothers going to go? Who's going to... And actually, what was lovely about our family was that we all got together anyway, even though my parents had separated. You know, my parents were Christians, but so there was still that sort of, you don't exclude, you just come together for Christmas, and the kids all come together and everybody comes together. Yeah,
that's lovely.
And that's something that I'm starting to experience now. This is the first year that it's going to be a little bit like that for me. So, you know, it's all about the children, and it's all about having stability for the children, having the normality. And my children have got a party tomorrow with their friends, and my daughter's broken up from school. My son is breaking up tomorrow. So he's got friends coming over, she's got friends coming over, and it's going to be very, you know, relaxed, some music, nice food, and just so that they can have that lovely time and that lovely experience. And I know we haven't touched on this point, but it did come up whilst you were talking, Rachel, and that was about men. I mean, this is the scary fact, two scary facts. Men who are on their own, so maybe have separated or divorced or been widowed, and who don't then meet somebody else, actually their life expectancy is reduced by 20%, up to 20%. And that, I find that a really scary statistic. So yes, it is our old people, but we've got to love our men. We've got to reach out to our men. You know, they're amazing. They are providers. They are protectors. They are warriors. You know, we've got to look out for them. And the other scary statistic is that, you know, amongst the suicides recorded in this country, still we are seeing 75% of those are men. Yeah, our men and our young men and our older men. And so we, as I say, we tend to look out for people who are, you know, homeless people. We want to make sure that they're warm. We want to make sure that they've got a hot meal. We, you know, the Basket Brigade with Yes Group, we take their food to them. I'm not actually doing it this year, but it's a lovely thing to do. You know, all day we prepare on the 23rd of December. All day we prepare lovely meals for Christmas, and then they're delivered all around London. I'm not sure if the Birmingham one isn't happening this year, but certainly the London one, and it literally, you're feeding thousands and thousands and thousands of families. It's a beautiful thing to do. But then the second sort of tier of people is people who are maybe, you know, ill, who can't get out on their own, and older people. And I think it's really important to remember our men, you know, to remember our men and love our men and reach out to them, and make sure that if we know that somebody's by themselves, why don't you come on? There's another, you know, chair. There's a spare chair around our table. Come and join us. You know, because it enhances the experience for everybody. And the fact is, as human beings, we're meant to be part of, you mentioned community, we're meant to be part of a community. We are not designed to be islands. We're not designed to always do things on our own. Of course, time to yourself is so valuable, so important. It's where you recharge, you practice self-care. I meditated for about an hour and a half before this call this evening, before our show, because I wanted to get into a really still place that had a late night, had friends for dinner, and a crazy day. So, you know, really making time for me and having that sort of clearing out all of the if you like, the stuff that's spinning around in your head, all the thoughts and all of that kind of thing, the activity, and being an empty vessel is a really good starting point to then move forward into a different space. And it also helps with being present. So yeah, I think, I mean, it's a massive topic. We knew it was going to be a massive topic.
It's huge, isn't it? Covered so many things.
Huge. But honestly, anybody out there, you know, we really invite you to share this to anybody, you know, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on any of your social media platforms, and feel free to, you know, ask questions and, you know, put your hand up, and it doesn't matter what it is. And if the questions that you have are of a personal nature and you really don't want to share them in a public forum, then I'm sure that Rachel and I certainly would be happy as well to receive, you know, private messages. That if you really need, you know, a pointer or signposting or just a little bit of response or just a virtual hug, then, you know, certainly, yeah, we're here for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, there's a range of different things going on there in what you said. The picture of who would be classed as a vulnerable person is actually, it could be anybody, couldn't it? It could be anybody that you know, has gone through bereavement, separation, an illness, or is in a vulnerable place and needs that support. Yeah, so really, I think a good kind of general thing to do is to actually be able to communicate your own true feelings to people, more so than ever around this time of year. And I think what you touched on before, Natasha, was about people that, you know, take the burden and end up, you know, catering for so many people, and end up very stressed and, you know, overrun with tasks and jobs to do. And it's really a call, I think, whenever we get to that position of actually digging deep and finding a voice to actually say in a, you know, an open way and a kind way to people that actually, I need some help here, or I'd like to do things differently, or let's go out for a meal, you know, can we share the task? Can you do this? Can you help with that? Or even just saying no. I think there's a great power in being able to say no to certain.
Yeah, it's a wonderful word.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, it's interesting because I was listening on the radio earlier. I think it was earlier today. I was on the way back from a photo shoot and I just flicked the radio on, and I like to listen to music, but it just flicked on, and I didn't have a chance to flick it on to the next music channel before I heard a few words, and it was talking about Christmas and saying that, you know, a lot of people these days are actually opting to snuggle up on the sofa and watch a film rather than going partying, or not even to have a full Christmas dinner, but perhaps, you know, have something completely different, maybe even fish and chips, do things slightly differently. And I remember that in my own home when I was a little girl, I had 3 brothers, 4 of us, and my mum always did the cooking, and my mum worked really hard. And at Christmas time, every single year, she had her parents over, she had my dad's parents over, and my great grandmother over, which is her grandmother, and sometimes even auntie. And it was always my mum that did all of the cooking and all of the prepping and everything. And that must have been, my mother never complained, and she still is a very capable and very strong woman. And yet that must have been a huge burden for her to make sure that everything, you know, that it was traditional turkey that we had, that the turkey was cooked to perfection, that the roast potatoes were crispy and crunchy, that there was plenty of gravy, there was plenty of bread sauce, plenty of cranberry sauce, that there were 2 lots of stuffing, that they got the approval of the older generation because it was a recipe passed down through generation and generation, that there was enough wine flowing, that there was enough space for everybody, that people didn't get cranky, and, you know, and all the rest of it. Yeah. And it's one of these periods where, like you say, the power of no is very strong, or even asking for help. And you hear of so many families, you know, having too much food, so overindulging, having too much sherry or wine or whatever it is, and then everybody falling out, and the whole thing, or the expectation of Christmas just coming crashing down, and then ending up as a huge disappointed mess, and then everyone wants to go home and sulk for Boxing Day or sleep it off, and then it's like fuel for another year. So how's about dead enders, right? So, you know, how's about taking a really good long look at Christmas and saying, you know, even writing a list and saying, I mean, this is the kind of thing I do with my clients about the different areas of their lives, but everything you love about Christmas time and everything you hate about Christmas time, and saying, well, out of all the things that you love about Christmas time, can you keep all of those things? Can you maintain all of these things? Do you need help with these things? And all of the things you hate about Christmas time, can you delegate those things, or can you just not bother doing them anymore? For instance, if bread sauce is a real ball ache for you, don't do it. Or if making, you know, the Christmas cake 2 or 3 months prior so that it's absolutely gorgeous and you can give it to a different relative to do, then do it.
Yeah. And there's joy actually in sharing and giving people the opportunity to contribute.
Yes. So they don't feel guilty. Just turning up and eating all your food.
Yes. We are keeping things fairly quiet here, and
but you just moved house.
Yeah, we're going to go out and help the homeless. That's the plan.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Do a bit of giving, and we want to put some cards through some neighbours' doors as well. There's an elderly person next to us and family on the other side, and then have a bit of relaxation. You know, we're quite glad to be having this quiet time for reflection and just for us, and you know, and give something back to the community as well. Just to stop us there, I've just been told that Costa is actually watching our show.
Yay! Fabulous.
Yeah, Costa.
Hi.
Hi, Costa. I did mention the Day of Good News that's happening on the 22nd of December.
Thank
you. This is a perfect forum, as this is positive vibes, to talk a little bit about this. And at this festive season, I think it's even more important to bring the positive to light and bring light to the dark, and encourage people to share good news and positive insights a lot more on social media. So Costa, do you want to say a few words?
When have I been known to say just a few words?
True.
Thank you for taking the risk there, Rachel.
You're in good company, Costa. We're good big talkers here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's required for what you're trying to do. Nice to meet you, Natasha.
Yeah, greetings also to you,
Greetings.
Costa.
Let me see if my camera will work or not.
Yay!
Okay, there, it does work. And you don't have to see my messy bed and my desk and all that, so that's even better.
Easy with the camera.
Yeah, I don't have cool backgrounds like you two do, but it'll have to do for a moment. Anyway, yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Since I just got on, I don't know if I'm going to repeat anything that you already said, but I'll do it anyway. Folks need to know that it's December 22nd. That's this Sunday. You know, wherever they're located, it's an experiment for one day, 24 hours. And it doesn't have to be from midnight to midnight. You know, this is just a general guideline. But the basic idea is, why don't we take our power to be the media back into our hands and flood the internet, social media, wherever we find ourselves, and many of us are on different platforms, which is good. We get a diversity. But to flood social media with good news. We can all find it and do find it, and I'm the first one easy to complain about all the crap that gets thrown at us day after day, hour after hour. And I don't know about you all, but what it has done to me is depressed me and almost shackle me from having the energy, and the inspiration to go out and do good things. And then I realized that whenever people like you sent me something good in my news feed, it made me feel better. And it just gave me the idea of, what if there were a steady stream of people like us at the start, just supporting each other by sending the good news that we find? What effect would that have? I mean, on an individual basis, if you're like me, it makes you feel good at the start of the day when you log on to see some positive news about people being kind, helping each other, new environmental things that are helping the earth. Good news is in all kinds of forms. So it helps the individual to be more productive. And again, if you're like me, if you start the day out with some good news like that, you just feel more energized, more powered up to do what it is your mission is. So the idea on December 22nd is for all of us to start helping each other that way. And I'll let you in on a secret, which is not much of a secret, that after the December 22nd, when each of us does our postings, I want to do this more on a 24/7 basis. Find as many volunteers all over the world who can even just give a few minutes time whenever, but just to make a commitment that they would just start on a regular, irregular, semi-regular, but committed basis to putting out good news. It doesn't have to end at one day on December 22nd. That's my basic premise. So I ask people to go to adayofgoodnews.com, and they can register if they want, but the basic idea is there for just three simple actions, which are free and don't take much time, which is to just find a post of good news and to put it out there wherever you are: Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, MeWe, etc., and also to refrain, if you can, for a whole day from posting anything negative. And that has really good consequences on a very personal level. I'm here to say, for myself and for all of us and for the society as a whole, if we can all just start practicing not doing the complaining while we're sending out the good news. And the third ask that we have is that whoever reads that finds 2 more people, just a couple, or 2,000 if your mailing list and your Twitter accounts, to tell them about this. And I tell you, I've been finding for the last 3 weeks while I've been doing this and promoting it, people really light up with the idea. And I'm quick to say it is our mission. It's not Costa's mission. I like to get people started where I can, but everybody who catches fire with the idea really likes it, and you become the center of your own universe there as you spread it out as well. So that's why it belongs to all of us. We all benefit from it, and we uplift and inspire the rest of the planet. So that's where that's what is on adayofgoodnews.com. And the last thing I'll say is there are 11 links on that page on adayofgoodnews.com of good news websites. As I did my research, I found, really to my delight, that there are good news aggregators out there. I don't know how they do it, where they find it, but they've created websites where it's easy for people like you and me just to go there and read and go, oh my God, I like this one. Here's the link. I like that one. And then just pass it along. It's not like you have to go out and do something, although that's good to create good news, but you can actually go to these links, these websites who've done the work, and they have amazing stories. I mean, just stuff that just feeds you. As you start looking, you get addicted to it in a good way. Like, you want to keep reading because your endorphins start pumping, and you start having hope for humanity instead of despair and cynicism. So that's a long way of saying that's the whole idea, is let's reverse the negativity, the emotional food that is being fed to us by mass media that's really negative, and let's instead create our own nourishment. We're farmers of the human spirit, and we're going to grow good news and pass the harvest on to everybody. And then watch, as I have watched in my newsfeed, just in the 3 weeks I've been informally doing this, watch your newsfeed start lighting up with more positive news. It will happen without you even trying very hard. And it'll catch you by surprise as you sit back and you go, wow, I don't remember seeing this volume before, of stuff coming at me from people I don't know now. And that's kind of how you'll start knowing that this is what's going around is coming around, and that it's working. So that's it in a very big nutshell there. Thanks for letting me describe it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Costa. I already feel lit up as you start talking. I love the way you talk and the way the metaphors you use. A harvest, growing good news and showing the harvest. I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Love it. Thank you. Finally.
Well, come on, say what you mean.
We are bringing. We are. You know what happened, Costa? Honestly, I'm a positive person anyway, and I've been practicing this for ages. And I have to say that my son, who's now 16, when he was born, I used to cry at the news, and I made a decision back then. I would not watch the news, which I have not watched for almost 16 years. Wow. And I would not read the papers or buy the glossy magazines, again, which I haven't done. And 13 years ago, I decided I would not take pharmaceutical medication. Obviously, if I'm dying and I have to have it, I'll do it. But I haven't even taken a paracetamol. And so for me, I'm happy to tell everybody I am sitting on my happy cloud. And as you were speaking, your words were just nourishing my brain, nourishing my soul. My heart was opening, and I felt this gorgeous energy, and the cells in my body were getting excited, jumping up and down, going, yippee! So good. I'm on it. Listen, I'm on it. In fact, try to get me off it, because I'll be like, you'll be sick of the sight of me.
I would say you're slightly energized there, Natasha. A little bit. And you know what?
She's already on that one. Yeah.
Effervescent, as I'm called by many people.
If just talking about this got you this energized, imagine going to, and I really encourage people to go to those websites, those links on adayofgoodnews.com, because it will change your life. And imagine if you're excited now, as you start reading that, you'll get addicted to it, and you'll see the vision of. Imagine what would happen if really major mass media committed to doing what these little websites are doing. You know, they're probably reaching thousands here and thousands there, but of course mass media reaches hundreds of millions, and it really plants the seed in your mind as you read the little stuff on these websites and realize, what if this were done on a large scale of hundreds of millions? This would literally change the planet. It would,
not if, when, yes.
When, yeah.
We're tipping sorry to interrupt you, but we are literally tipping the scales of humanity here and raising the vibration. And when you raise your own vibration, it has so much more power to it. It's beautiful. The work of David Hawkins, the map of consciousness, and all of these things. This is what I study, this is what I teach, and this is what has changed my life. And, so easily we can recharge ourselves, re-energize ourselves. And certainly what you said, Costa, about, noticing how your whole life starts to change and your whole experience starts to change when you're putting it out there and what comes back to you. Certainly for the last 2 years, every single person that's come into my life is a really beautiful soul, and I recognize them straight away. And I'm like, hi, as if hi again, even though I've never seen them before. And they're like, look at me and they go, hi. So, and it's like our beautiful, soul tribe, our the family of man, our humanity is coming together, and everybody is joining together and understanding what it's really all about. And we're really challenging the status quo, and we're seeing this huge contrast between madness, unconsciousness, and consciousness. And I'm really excited to be alive.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that on that note, and touching on what you were saying, Costa, about negativity. In the UK, I don't know if you're aware, but we just had a general election, and I tried to steer away from any kind of conversation about it. Although I did vote, and I wanted to use that facility, but it has the results have created some tension amongst people. So it's kind of quite prevalent time, actually. It's no accident that we're having this day of good news on the 22nd, not just because of the festive season, but the political climate, not just here but around the world. It's it's going to really help to shift the balance greatly. And on another note, what you said about how you can inspire other people, I have definitely felt and noticed myself focusing more on the positive news. Not that I was ever kind of a doom and gloom kind of person, but I've certainly been more conscious about sharing the good stuff, and actually being amazed at what brilliant work is going on around the world, all the major changes that people are making, and things that people are creating to innovate and to change to other people's lives.
And isn't it great to learn about that? I mean, I run across, let me just give one example of something I would have never expected, because maybe I have a limited imagination. Maybe this is not my gift, but there are people who are doing 3D printing of homes out of cement. Yeah. They can make one home in 24 hours. I hear that it costs about $4,000. I don't know what that is in pounds, but that's compared to the price of housing here in the San Francisco Bay Area, that is nothing. It's a small, humble home, but a story like that, I would have never thought to go there, and suddenly there it is, and people have not only thought about it, they've got the machines to do it, they had the vision, and they're creating small communities now, just stamping out these, or pouring out or printing all these homes. And that's just one example of the creativity of the human spirit when it's allowed to roam free, to have a few resources, and when it has a service to the whole as its motivation, all kinds of things, good things, then happen. And I'm just inspired by that story. And as I sit there, like I said, every day, I'll read a dozen of stories like that. And I'm so grateful because like you, Natasha, I haven't gone away totally from the mass media. I mean, but I totally do. I almost totally avoid it. And so filling myself with these kinds of stories like the 3D homes and stuff is again, it's like a daily nourishment. You know, you give air, food, and water to your body. Why not to your emotional body and your heart pour in also, nourishment like this? And another byproduct is I like people better. It's really easy. We live in a very divided country, socially, culturally, and politically in the U.S. And I can't speak for other countries, but I know there are challenges everywhere, no matter where you live, with people getting along. And, when I'm not at my best, I don't like certain people doing certain things. And I want to be better than that. And so nourishing myself with some good news kind of lifts me up a little bit and helps me deal and be a little bit more tolerant. It doesn't mean I accept bad things that people do, but I don't hold on to the anger and the hate and the separation that could be there, but instead just focus on creating the positive stuff and creating the world I want, instead of just totally complaining about the world that I see in front of me that I don't like. And it's really easy for all of us to do that.
Yeah.
Give me 4 weeks with you. Give me 4 weeks with you. You'll never look back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right
Positive
there.
Pants.
What's that?
I said, Mrs. Positive Pants.
Well, I'll be right over, of course. Just give me an address. My teleporter's in the shop this week, but the garage.
Okay. Well, listen, excuses. We don't do excuses, only solutions.
Okay. Are you two women located physically near each other?
Yeah, we are actually.
Yes.
We're in Birmingham, aren't we?
Both in Nottingham?
Right at
Birmingham.
Yeah, you're in Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right in the heart of England.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
I like that, in the heart.
Yeah.
And we're all about heart.
And we are
centered.
about the heart.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah, I concur. I've stopped watching the news on the whole, although occasionally I catch the radio, or sometimes people tell me things about what's going on. But I totally agree that what we feed our mind is then what becomes our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviour, which then creates our reality. So it's about understanding and being, even understand it intellectually, but actually putting it into practice and being aware of what it is you truly want to see in the world, and being that change. I think is important to remember. As I said before, we were talking, Dave and I, about the political scene and how some companies are not so forthcoming in giving back to the community with the taxes and so on. And off on that, we decided, right, so what can we do to give back? Okay, we're going to go out and we're going to help the homeless on Christmas Day. So, small example, it's not to blow a trumpet, it's just an example of what you can do in your own backyard and in your own way. And a day of good news is another. It's all has a knock-on effect on the world around us and on ourselves.
Can I mention one more thing that 1 second, because this is a positive news show. My friend Dot Maver is sponsoring, and you can find this on Facebook for those of you who are on it, something called a Global Silent Minute. You may have seen that announcement, but it's actually occurring the day before a day of good news. And it's at, I know it's 1 p.m. Pacific time. And you'll have to work that out where it is in your time zone. But the idea is for everybody to take one silent minute to just bring in the silence of cooperation, the spirit of peace in your heart as you connect with other people. And that's all they ask people to do, one silent minute. And again, it's 1 p.m. on December 21st. That's in the Pacific time zone. That would be, sounds like 9 p.m. There in the UK. So I want to put that out there, one silent minute. You can find it. It's called Global Silent Minute. If you search for that text on Facebook, you'll see Dot Maver there. She's gathering people all over. She's even gotten the Dalai Lama. She has connections with him to endorse it and to send it out to his people. So I was tickled because I hadn't been in contact with her for a while. And as I started working on a Day of Good News, doing my usual promotion on Facebook, up popped Global Silent Minute with Dot's name on it. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is the day before we're doing our thing. It's like she and I didn't plan this. We're not overtly in communication, but on an energetic level, those of us who put ourselves at the service of the whole and the planet will find more and more of these synchronicities that we're working together and planning things that we didn't know about, maybe that are close to one another. And I've been trying to help her by publicizing that Global Silent Minute, like I am right now, because oh my God, it fits in with your show right now, what you two women are doing. It fits in with what we're doing with Day of Good News the following day. And who knows what else is being planned around that time, because this is a very special time of year for many traditions. But anyway, I want to put that out there.
As we were saying earlier, Natasha, it is definitely, although we can make change anytime, this is a great opportunity or signifier for people to make that big change and look to the year ahead. So, and we've got the new year. So, yeah, this is kind of perfect, really. And of course, we've got the winter solstice, haven't we?
On the 21st, I think, isn't it?
21st. Yeah, so
also on the 21st. Wow, exciting. Yeah, lots of synchronicities and bringing people together. And can we share this link for the 1 minute on the 21st?
Yeah,
so we can. So
Dave's on it.
Oh, brilliant, Dave, superstar! Woo! Yeah, already on it.
Go.
Needless to say anything.
Away,
He's already on it.
doing all the research and.
Wow, brilliant! Yeah.
Hi, Costa.
Hi, Dave, wherever you are.
Yeah.
Love the haircut.
Yeah.
Gotta mention the haircut.
Your haircut rocks, Costa.
Cool. Yes, loving it.
And I don't know what to say. I didn't expect that, but thank you. You caught me almost speechless, and that's pretty hard.
Wow.
I think I have Debs to blame for that. She started it on the chat with the haircut thing. So thank you, Debs. I think.
One of the things I was thinking about when you were talking and came up for me was there's this beautiful website, the Heart Map Institute, and it's talked about a lot on YouTube, and Greg Braden speaks about it and what have you, and his work is amazing. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, these beautiful, amazing people, and the heart is actually 5,000 times more powerful magnetically than the mind. And it's worth remembering that we have 3 intelligence systems. This one, the brain, this one, the heart, and you can't see, but your gut, your gut instinct, your stomach, your solar plexus. And we are brought up and conditioned to just use this and not trust our heart and not trust our gut instinct. And we're all about saying, get out of your head, drop into your heart, and really feel. Stop thinking about it and really feel, about things. How do you feel about something? If you move towards a certain situation, a new job interview, or, a meeting, or getting together with family or friends, is your stomach twisting and turning and feeling a bit anxious? In other words, don't go there. Or is it, light and butterflies and getting excited? Like my daughter says, nervous-sighted. about something, and really trusting your own intuition, because it is all about empowerment, and it is all about cooperation and collaboration and contribution and service and kindness, you said. And I love these words. They're so beautiful and powerful words. And when you get over yourself, as clearly I have, and get out of your own way, you just, the essence of a person comes through. And then when that's seen and that's felt by others, it almost gives other people permission. And so the work that we do in the world, albeit a little bit here, a little bit there for each one of us, collectively, there are probably millions of us around the globe that are doing our little bit to make a difference. And it's like I can see it like an invisible network, almost like a golden thread around the world. As we then start to meet one another with all the, like Rachel and I, like us all, and David and all of this kind of thing. And Rachel and I only met in May this year, but I knew straight away, oh my gosh, I'm going to get on this show. I'm going to do that. Yes, definitely. And then it's evolved, I know I said so at the time and you probably thought that scary lady, but the fact is that we are all connecting and we are all doing things in our own way and doing our own thing, staying on our own pages, going to different events, meeting the same people, meeting different people who also know the same people, and we're joining the dots. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I for one, I'm just really excited to be alive at this time.
Let me add to your point there, Natasha, and Debs may concur with this too. When talking with her star teachers, who are her amazing partners, and just recently, I was thinking about the network that you're talking about, Natasha, about people meeting and being out there, that network being in more numbers than we realize. So I asked the star teachers then, like, okay, how big is the network globally of kind of basically good people who are ready to be active and all that? And I can't prove this in a court of law, but the star teachers have always been pretty much spot on with things that they have said to me. Their answer to that question, like how many? They said 1 billion people. 1 billion people on planet Earth. That's 1 out of 7 people have had their hearts open enough that they can be reached, through goodwill and through the kinds of missions that you and I and our friends are doing. So that's how big our network is. We have 1 billion people to work with. And now some of them are worried about where they're going to, half of them, where they're going to get their next meal tomorrow. And so they may not be able to be sitting and doing what the mission that you two are performing or that I'm doing. But whenever they're reached by someone, and that's how we work. We work from person to person to person, with degrees of separation. Whenever those who maybe are struggling to find their next meal are reached by someone with goodwill who wants to draw them in and help them, and then you've made that kind of connection. So our numbers are everywhere. They're huge. They're really huge. And let's work with that. And it's an inspiring thing. It's not just you and 10 of your friends who care and who are doing something. It's you and about 1 billion of your friends who in potential are part of this evolutionary wave of energy that's really building things for the better.
Love that. And I mean, I don't know about you guys or anybody else out there, but I can literally feel the energy in my body. Literally, it's like excited, it's rushing around. I'm getting sort of like kundalinis and, this beautiful vibe. My body's warm. It's like the chi is like, yes, we're there, we're ready. It's like the warriors waking up and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's just magical. And, certainly, I know Rachel and I, we're ready to step up. We're ready to do whatever is necessary because it's a beautiful gift. We've been blessed with mouths so that we can share. And the courage has come from somewhere. It's come from somewhere.
There's a larger intelligence.
Of course.
I truly, go by that understanding that there's greater intelligence and it's working through us, and when we are in our flow, when we are listening to our intuition, to our heart, to our gut, we are actually listening to this greater intelligence, which is us. So it's helping people to remember as well, isn't it? That, you know, they have a lot more to offer, and they are not alone, actually. Christmas time or not Christmas time, they're actually not alone, never alone.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we plan to do a half an hour show, but I've got a feeling it's maybe like an hour.
I know.
It's 5 to 9, right? So I think we're probably getting to a natural ending there. A good point to perhaps wrap things up. But I'm really excited to do the next show. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and it's been lovely talking to you all. Natasha, you're bubbly, a vibrant, effervescent energy. Costa, you know, your heartfelt presence was really appreciated. I see Kat has joined us, and Debs, who's at work, so couldn't say too much, but said hello at the beginning. It's been wonderful, and everyone else that's been watching and listening, and will do later when we put out the recording. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm really excited to see how all of our different projects and movements, global movements, pave the way to create the new earth that we can all feel is there, and we just need to manifest into our reality.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, and delighted that you said yes. Delighted that, you know, we have connected. Feel so blessed and so grateful, and really appreciate this amazing opportunity that actually using social media in a really positive, fabulous way, that we can reach homes all over the world. We can reach people, and even if, as Costa said, you know, people who don't even know where their next meal's coming from, even if they have that positive thought, even if they put a smile on their face, which automatically sends positive endorphins up to their brain, serotonin, you know, when you smile, serotonin goes to your brain, then it makes you feel happy, and actually as a side effect your health improves. And did you know this, which I completely love this, when you smile at somebody else in the street, whoever, even if they don't smile back, and most people will smile back, even if they don't smile back, the fact that you are smiling at another human being actually starts to get the positive endorphins in their brain to make them feel better against their will. What a beautiful gift is that?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
Well said.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Well said.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so enjoy your festivities, whatever you're doing. If you don't celebrate Christmas, or if you do, enjoy this season of community, of reflection, of new beginnings, and we will see you again very soon. The next one will be announced.
Wonderful.
So goodbye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you. Have a wonderful festive time. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.